Okay, we should be live. Perfect. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TGC Tour's Major Design Contest final results stream. I'm here with Charlie, one of the other organizers of the contest.
Hello, hello. Uh, should we just get things we'll get things started in a second. For now, we'll leave you with our lovely placeholder introduction slide.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I wanna give folks a couple minutes to settle in, so we don't need to like start jumping into you know, ranking them just yet. But we can jump into, well, yes, obviously. Next slide, we have our results. Me and Charlie. All right, so we
Yeah,
can go over our top 16 a little bit. So, um, I mean, realistically, I think like there's no bad courses in this top 16. They're all pretty solid, and it really just comes down to I think the top courses definitely separated themselves from the rest of the field.
yep. It was. I thought that final 16 had a lot of depth. But for most judges, I would say there are a clear like top maybe four or five courses that for most people just stood out a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Definitely agree. And as a whole, I've been even for the courses that didn't make the cut, like I've been pleasantly surprised at the quality throughout the field. And like again, I think any of the courses in the top 16 and a number of the courses that didn't make the top 16 are certainly worthy of being on tour, and I think they should most likely see tour spots at some point. Now,
Yeah, I think
whether or not that's on
yeah.
plat is a different story, though.
I think when me and Matt were kind of whittling the field down to a final 16, we had maybe 21 or 22 courses that we wanted or that could have gone through. So it's quite, I thought it was actually quite difficult to get a final 16. So a lot of really, really good courses in this contest.
Absolutely. And yeah, I just want before we hop in, I wanted to just take a moment and thank all of the contestants and all of the judges for making this contest happen. It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the process as much as I did. But all
I
right.
mean, I,
Oh,
I
go ahead.
I struggled a lot playing most of these courses, but in judging, I was over par on most of them. But genuinely, really enjoyable courses from pretty much everyone, I would say.
Yes, I think there was a couple, as I've streamed all of these, there's a couple hilarious moments. I think of me maxing out a score on a couple holes, or generally shooting 85.
Yep.
All right, but without any further ado, I think we can hop into our T11s here. So the way we decided to do this is we just decided that we were going to rank the top 10, and just so that there wasn't a quote unquote last place in the cut, we just decided that 11 through 16 is all just T11 right now. So our T11s are Sleepy Panda's Muna Beach, Energizer's Club 27, Granger's Abelin Top, Honey Badger's Blue Heron Bog, Seb's Sand Hollow Golf Club, and Strangey's Kenakana.
Yeah, I thought all of these were really good courses, and honestly, there wasn't that much in it between what we had in the top 10 than these last few. I would I would say that like I think particularly like I thought a lot of the environments that just missed out were really, really good. And often it was just like maybe the difficulty wasn't like quite as, maybe not quite as major level as we would have hoped for a higher ranking. But I thought all of these were really good courses.
Absolutely. Yeah, like, but again, they all had like just enough little quirks in them that set them back from the other top courses. Like like Granger and Geysers, you could kind of tell that they're a little rushed for time. Um, Like Sand Hollow was just like a touch awkward to play in spots. Like Kenna Kenna was like great ideas, but it just wasn't quite up to the execution of some of the other ones, like that sort of stuff. These are all fantastic courses, and I imagine they're all going to get tour spots at some point.
Yeah.
All right.
Shall we
Oh,
move on to the top 10?
yep. I was just thinking that.
Yes.
All right. So without further ado, we'll into the numbered ones. So for 10th place, we have Slightly Saucy's Yorkshire Club.
Yeah, I thought this was a really enjoyable round. I think maybe personally I had it ranked slightly higher than this. I thought this was one of the courses that fulfilled the brief of being like difficult, but still just about fair enough. I thought this did it very well. I thought the bunkering was really impressive, and I think maybe a couple of judges weren't quite as sold on the environment on this
Mm-hmm.
course. Like it was fair, like not to say it didn't fit the style of course, but maybe it was slightly more subdued than some judges would have liked. I
Yep.
thought this was really good.
I really loved this concept, and I part of me just wants to see this concept in something that wasn't major, because I think like the massive fairways and like all short grass and all of that sort of stuff makes for really interesting golf, but it doesn't necessarily make for particularly hard golf. And I think this course had
I
to make up for it with greens and pin placements.
I think sometimes also I thought some of the camber got a little bit maybe a little bit harsh. Like obviously camber is fun, but like there are a couple of holes where I thought maybe it was overdone slightly. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like conceptually I thought this was one of the most interesting in the contest.
Agreed. All right. I suppose on to ninth.
Yep.
All right. In ninth place, we have the Olympus Club by Crizzy.
Another another course that I actually think did the difficulty quite well, but in a very different way to what Saucy did. Because some of the fairways on this one were really narrow, but like it's just a sort of like there's nothing kind of like too hidden in the difficulty. It's just you just have to hit the fairways.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Again, this one felt a little bit like those old school Tiger Woods fantasy courses back in the the PS2 days, where in order to make it hard, they had to make all the fairways super narrow and the greens super small. But obviously, it's
Yeah,
a little more grounded version of those. But you could still kind of like the targets felt very small, both kind of in a good and a bad way for me.
I think in particular, on the good side of things, I think the greens in this course were some of my favourites in the contest. I thought they were really really well done. I thought that maybe could have gone with a slightly more adventurous bunker style or widened up a couple of fairways, but I thought the plot was really well executed for the start of course.
Agreed. I think like Chrissy's always done like very interesting, elaborate environments, and I honestly think this is my favorite of his. It's a little more subtle and grounded than some of his other stuff, but all the artistry that he's kind of known for is all still there. Like it was fun seeing a little bit of a different side to his style.
Yeah, I was really impressed by this one.
All right,
Anyway,
on to eighth.
yep.
All right, with at eighth we have Thunder Ridge Golf Club by Pat Lavar.
The publish that he never told anyone about. I thought this one was really interesting, and pictured here is hole three, which I thought was one of the better par fives in this contest, like a really really interesting golf hole. I
Mm-hmm.
thought the environment was executed brilliantly, and like just looked beautiful throughout. Maybe where I was a little less sold on this one, I thought some really interesting golf holes, but I think some of them played it fairly safe. Like on the back nine, there are a few kind of fairly straightaway long par fours. But like in particular though, I thought holes three, five, 11 and 12 were all really, really interesting.
Hmm. Yeah, I think like this course has some of the like the highs on this course are up there with the best in the contest, but I don't. It just doesn't quite as
Absolutely.
consistently hit those highs as some of the top courses.
I think if I had, I think what I would have liked is maybe a little more kind of excitement in the low level land movement because the plot is really impressive, but I think maybe a few more kind of like bumps in the land would have probably brought this up a little bit for me.
Yeah, I know. Pat was one of our contestants who was dealing with a ton of crashes and therefore was pressed for
Yeah,
time. So I can at least understand where like this course might come up a little short in some areas purely just out of like being unable to design.
yeah,
So, like,
but
with the limitations in mind, I was very impressed with this one.
yeah, thought this one was really good.
All right, on to seven.
Yeah,
All right, and in seven, we have Karina Dunes by Squidward.
I thought this course was. I thought this golf course was one of my personal favorites in the contest. I think where I docked it a few points was on the challenge because I thought this one was more of I'd say maybe more elite level than like a platinum major course. But like environment and golf, I thought were absolutely excellent in this one.
Yeah, agreed. Like this is the kind of course that would clean up in World Cup of Design, and it just loses some points for difficulty in a contest that's specifically focused on that.
Like
Fun fact:
yeah,
this one actually finished T6 with the next course coming up. It had the same score, and it lost on the tiebreaker of the other one had more higher judging votes than this one.
yeah. But I thought in terms of like plot, environment, like routing across the plot, this was one of the best in the contest. And I just wish that he'd pushed the difficulty slightly further.
Yeah, the environment is probably one of the best, if not the best, in the contest for me. It's up there.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, on to six.
Let's do it.
All right, and in sixth we have Panther Creek National by BS Petty slash Games Decent, whatever he's calling himself these days.
Yeah, I think this course was also really interesting and like it I think this is a course that used length as its main defense and was I enjoyed playing this one quite a lot and I think that maybe plays into why I had it slightly lower because it's I would say it's actually quite easy outside of the length. So there's some hard pins and some harder golf holes in this one, but I thought it was. I didn't think it was the most challenging in this contest.
Yeah,
Environment though, really good.
absolutely. I think this one does everything well, but it also just doesn't like it doesn't do anything exceptionally well, which
Mm.
it's hard to separate yourself in a contest
I
if
think
you're
some
not doing something like really memorable.
Yeah, I think some judges, only a minor thing. I think some judges weren't entirely sold on the how similar in texture the light rough and the fairway looked. But honestly, I thought this was a really interesting round. And again, like outside of a major contest, like the uh, the planting environment, like this was really impressive and very unique.
Agreed. Also, I suppose I should make my one little note of the light rough was so frustrating. Not it. It wasn't a big issue. Like I didn't like docket points for it, but it was just like being completely unable to figure out where like just hitting drives that I felt like were in the middle. I'm like no, it's in the light rough cut that you can't see. Found that very
Yeah.
amusing.
Anyway, shall we move on to number
Top,
five?
absolutely. And in fifth place, we have Bonaire Bay or Saint Bonaire of the Bay, whichever. I think the Bonaire of the Bay is the new one with the fixed publish.
Yeah, because he originally published it with a 130-yard par four. But this, I thought this is one of Reiner's best courses, and I think it was nice to see him delve into a style he hadn't taken on before. Um, I really enjoyed this one, and I thought that like in terms of like a Link's major course, I thought it was executed very well, and I think some of his most interesting hole designs, like hole 16, I think was like a par four up against like the boundary line of the course with a little kind of tucked away green site. I thought that was one of the best holes in the contest.
Hmm. Yeah, I loved this one. It was like Rhino's best environment, and in terms of it, like major championship environment, like what he did with all of the tournament objects and stuff is, to me, I think the best done kind of tournament atmosphere in the contest.
Yeah, I think where this one lost out a little bit for me is that maybe it would have been nice to see like a really tough three shot par five in there somewhere. But like, make no mistake, I think this is the Rhino course that I've enjoyed the most and enjoy coming back to the most.
Agreed. This one was a blast.
Yeah.
All right, on to number 4. We have Scottish's Chapel Valley.
I mean, in terms of like a major contest environment, like this is definitely a course you could see like a US Open being played at. I thought this one was really good, and I think I had it in my top three.
I did as well.
Where yeah, I really enjoyed sort of had a like lovely golden age charm to it. Like the bunkering, I thought was really well executed. Where this one, I think ever so slightly lost out on the top three was maybe it played it a little bit safe in some spots, especially with like environment work. Like it felt like there could have been maybe even a little bit more movement on the plot. And probably I think it would have been more interesting for it, but like I really enjoyed this one. I thought the greens were very well done.
Agreed. This is I think I had this in my top 3 as well, and it's one that just gets better every time you play it. The golf is fantastic, and I think it just yeah, it's I love that it's subtle, but at some points there's a fine line between kind of subtle and then just like not standing out. And I think this one kind of flirts with that line a little bit.
For sure. I did really enjoy this one, and I think it maybe lost out a little bit on difficulty as well because it had some very difficult golf holes, but it wasn't too brutal, I would say.
Absolutely. Anyways, I think
On
on to our
on to the
top
top
3.
three.
Yep. All right. So the bronze medal goes to Flinders Bluff by Heisenberg.
I thought that environment wise, this was one of the most kind of jaw dropping in the contest. And I think that's to be expected with Heisenberg. He always executes an environment like brilliantly. I
Yes.
thought I thought his greens were really interesting on this one, and like for and all things is this one overall for me was a lot of fun to play. Which I think in a major setting maybe you want it to be a bit more dick punchy, but I thought there was a lot of really difficult holes on this one, so I think it hit the balance between being fun and also being a really tough test very nicely.
Absolutely. I think this is one that was kind of very much in Heisenberg's wheelhouse, and I
Yeah,
loved the course. I loved the environment. I think like one of the things where it came up a little short on for me is kind of the major championship aspect feels a little kind of tacked on at the end. Like the environment around 18 is fantastic. Like there's so much effort and time, and like that area is amazing. And then that's kind of almost it as far as like crowds and tournament atmosphere goes. You have a great
yeah.
finisher where you feel like you're on a big stage, and then you're kind of almost by yourself for 16 of the other 17 holes.
I think there were maybe a couple of holes I liked slightly less. I wasn't. I think it was 16. It's a very long par four on the back nine with a very tough green. Like I think that course was. I thought that hole was maybe a weakness on what was a really good closing stretch. But like this course was really enjoyable.
Absolutely. I suppose
The
since revealing second place will be revealing first place. So I suppose we should take a moment to talk about the two of them before we dive into it. So
Yeah, so we
uh,
we have Stillwater Point by Ben B101, and we have Burlingame by Pithy Dr. G.
and
And as you can see, our
so, yes,
runner-up was Stillwater Point.
yes. Sorry, I bumped that key a little quick. But yeah, so there we go. But anyways, so both this and Berlin game were tied on points, and it just came down to a tiebreaker of
I think we had four. I think we had two first place votes for this and four for Burlingame.
yep,
I think what this one came down to, like in terms of difficulty, this course was absolutely brutal. I
yes,
think for me, where it lost out on Burlingame a bit, is that it often resorted to very heavy camber and insane greens. And I think that's in some sense that's fine. I just thought it maybe overused the camber on like one or two too many holes.
absolutely. Like that being said, I want to give it some points for being really the only course in the contest that absolutely nailed the level of like difficulty that you need for a plat major. Like you
Yeah,
basically cannot make those courses hard enough.
this is I'd say this is definitely like the I think this definitely will be a challenge to like the plat players because like I don't think I've broken 80 on this course before.
Yeah,
It was
it's a
it was
super
really well
test.
executed.
Mm-hmm. Um,
And as for our winner,
yeah, it's Berlin
we
game. It's so
yeah,
good.
I thought this course was pretty much flawless. Like I think this is one of the maybe one of my top three courses in the game, and I think for me, environment like San Francisco executed perfectly. Haven't really seen it before, but also like I think this one hit the balance of being a tough course but having a little bit of fairness absolutely perfectly. Um, yeah, I don't have a negative thing to say about this course, to be honest. I just thought it was absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, I think um, Stillwater gets like some points for being the best plat course in the contest, but this is just straight up the best course in the contest, and it
Yeah,
still hits kind of a plat level difficulty as well. I think
yeah,
like the couple little nicks that judges were able to give it was like a little bit of like planting that isn't as exciting on course. Um, I think a lot of the meter went to some of the background stuff like that big bridge, which was really cool, and then like little bunker sculpting hiccups here and there. But like the bunker style in general was fantastic and exciting and interesting and just really
I
well
thought
done.
I think bunkering actually was one of the highlights of the course for me because I thought that he executed the like sort of some areas had like little bits of splined bunker that meant that balls that just missed the green could roll off into bunkers, and I thought that was executed absolutely perfect. Like so, I think this is a course that's not only a really hard test, but I have an absolute blast playing it every single time I return to play it.
Yeah, this is one I just keep coming back to again and again, and it's so much fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I
Uh,
I think that about covers it for us. But thank
I
you
don't see.
everybody
I don't.
for tuning
Yeah.
in. Do you have any closing thoughts that you wanted to offer?
Absolutely not. I think. I think the. I mean, in my opinion, at least, I think the right course won it. I thought this was like so good, and but I thought like loads of other courses in this contest were great as well. I think I was quite surprised at the quality of the courses in this field because I thought people would get too sort of hung up on making their courses artificially difficult, and yeah, I thought this was a contest full of really good courses.
Agreed. Like part of me setting up the rubric and leaving it so open ended was to kind of give the designers both the freedom to do whatever they want, and then also give them enough rope to hang themselves with if they chose to make some odd decisions. And it's like, and nobody really, yeah, I figured that we were going to get some interesting, like really bonkers, over the top courses, and we didn't really get any of those. If anything, I think like the kind of normal mistake that people made was they erred very much on the side of like kind of a tame like kinetic or CC level course, and didn't dial it up hard enough.
Mm. But yeah, really good set of courses. Another win for the community. Some more generic BS to end the stream.
Absolutely. Thank you again, everybody. This has been fantastic, and congrats again to our top 16 and to Dan as our champion. All right. Well, have a good one, everybody. We'll catch you next time. Thanks again for following along.